Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I am excited to be here. I don't know what it is with this clap. I think I call it the YouTube clap because I see a lot of people do this and I've just caught on to the habit, and every time I say something. So sorry if that annoys you, but if you're new here, my name is Michaela. Welcome. I hope that you enjoy this video, and if you do, please like and subscribe. Would really love to connect with you and just create a little community here as we share bits and pieces of our lives. So today I just thought that I would get a little bit more personal and share with you all what I've been honestly facing and dealing with recently during this pregnancy, but also just during this season of life where transition is prevalent, because obviously Ransom and I are stepping into parenthood and there are a lot of questions, and honestly there have been a lot of concerns as well. And so here I am just kind of bearing my soul with you all, but also encouraging you because I've been encouraged today by reading a part of the word. So I wanted to share that with you as well. I recently, as you all know, have gone through a lot of health shocks and hospital visits, and that in itself can cause a lot of wear and tear on your mind and your body, but also just on your relationships. And I feel like, thank God, he has been so faithful and has seen us, Ransom and I, and me through it all, and that I'm healthy. But time and time again, I feel myself questioning why. And honestly, when you're going through tough times, the first thing that you think of is it's something that I've done. It's something that I did to deserve this, because that's how our world works. We get punished for things. We have very much so a works mentality where it's like you earn what you receive. And so if you're going through a difficult time, you must have done something to deserve it. And as a believer, we know that that isn't necessarily the truth, but that's often how we feel. And I have felt those emotions at times. Those thoughts have come to mind. You start to think and question, well, was it this? Was it that? During every season, but I would say in particular during the single season and during this season. When I was single, as I've shared before, in my 20s, I questioned if I would ever get married, if I would ever have a family. And although God was blessing me continuously in my career, he was opening up door after door and really strengthening me and pruning me, I questioned if I was good enough. If I was good enough to deserve the very thing that I desired, which was a family. And some of you may be out there, whether you're a woman or a man, you might be questioning, do I deserve it? Will I ever get it? Am I good enough? I am walking through this lonely season where I want to be married. I want to have a family. I'm seeing other people around me have that, and it seems like life is passing me by and I'm just stuck, and you question, what have I done? Or you might be on the other end of the spectrum where you feel like you do deserve it and it hasn't happened yet. I believe that when we are focused on our works, when we're focused on our circumstances and the things of this world, so much so that we begin to think with a cause and effect mentality, we're in trouble, right? Because if we were to really take a look at every decision that we've ever made, honestly, none of us would deserve anything good, because we're all imperfect and we all make mistakes. And so that starting point isn't great. But even now, as I sit here and I talk to you, I feel so inadequate. I feel tired. I feel worn. I feel like I have nothing to say. I feel like, God, why am I even doing what I'm doing? But I think it's in those moments where God can really use us as vessels, because we've emptied out a lot of ourselves and he's able to speak through us. And so today, which was a tiresome day, I must say, I was reminded of a scripture in John 8. And it's about the woman that was caught in adultery. And the Pharisees and the Sadducees at the time, the religious leaders, they were trying to see how Jesus would respond to this woman who had been caught in adultery. And it says in John 8, in verse 3, the teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say?" They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. And automatically we see that word accuse and we know that it's not from God, right? Because God, he isn't the accuser of the brethren. He isn't the accuser of the brethren. He is full of grace. He's full of love. He's full of compassion, and he's full of forgiveness. He is not a God of shame. He is not a God of guilt. And we see that clearly in how Jesus responds. He says in verse 9, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Go now and leave your life of sin." And so Jesus, we clearly see him being the Son of God, him exemplifying in his life that he is not the God of condemnation. He is the God of forgiveness. He is the God of love and compassion, and he gives us chance after chance. Does it mean that he doesn't discipline? Absolutely not. He definitely corrects, because obviously we see in his last statement, he says, "Go now and leave your life of sin." So he definitely still convicts, but he does not condemn. But what I thought was so potent in this portion of scripture was in verse 5, when the Pharisees said, "In the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women." It's interesting, if you know anything about the word, that they used Moses, and it literally was in the law of Moses. And it said that this act, this sort of behavior, deserves punishment, deserves to be stoned. And if we're really honest with ourselves, our actions from time to time, our decisions, our choices, it deserves punishment. We do deserve to not get blessed. We do deserve at times not to be rewarded and promoted and whatever. But sometimes the enemy, I believe, can use even a righteous call on our lives, or even something good, or even something godly, to condemn us. And that is not from the Lord. They said, in the law of Moses, they stoned such women. They used Moses as an example. Moses, obviously, we know he was used by God. He was someone that parted the Red Sea. He was a great vessel. He was someone that we look to as a hero in our faith. And they use him as an example to accuse someone else. They use him as a way to accuse this woman. And sometimes that can be us. Sometimes the enemy does that in our minds. He'll use something like, "Aren't you a Christian? Aren't you a believer? Aren't you called? You shouldn't be behaving like this. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't act like this. You deserve punishment. You deserve to be condemned. You deserve nothing but shame and guilt." But we have to remember that that isn't of God, because Jesus, he paid the price for us. He died on the cross for us, and he made us righteous, not by our works, but by his blood. And so when we remember that, we can be confident in knowing that we can go to him with all humility, to the throne of grace, to the throne of mercy, and know that he has us covered. He loves us. He does not condemn. He does not bring shame. He does not bring guilt. He does not bring accusations, but he lovingly, kindly takes us in, washes us clean, and allows us time to grow in him. So if you are going through a difficult time, or if you're not, just be reminded that he loves you. He's a forgiving God, and he doesn't want us to carry that shame. towards one another, towards ourselves. He really doesn't want us to be an accuser, because that doesn't come from him. That comes from the enemy. I hope that this was encouraging to you. This is something that I've been thinking about. It was encouraging to me. And so I hope to see you in the next video. I love you so much. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.